Unicorn, sorry for the technical difficulties, but we're still ironing out a lot. For those of you that have never watched the show before, I will answer questions about anything pertaining to the metaphysical, the spiritual, the paranormal, or the mystical. However, there are two types of questions that I will not answer, and that is whether or not someone's going to die or whether or not someone is cheating. If you want to deal with those things, then you need to take that up with the people that you're asking about. Now, a lot has happened this week. For those of you that have been keeping up with my Facebook page, I finally got the Daily Bread Bakery, low sodium bakery, and I'm very excited about that. We signed the lease today. I got the equipment today, and I'm very, very excited about that happening, and I hope that you will all come and visit us. Close that off.
Those are the questions.
Okay.
I need that up.
All right. I hope that you will all come and visit us at some point in time. And when we do open, we plan to open in June. And I'm very excited about that. We're doing a total renovation of the place, so it's going to look awesome. And the food will be awesome. And to answer a lot of your questions, I'm not running a restaurant, I'm running a bakery. That means that they're going to be low to no sodium baked goods, and they all have organic ingredients in them, so that you can all, we have to use our laptop today, so that you can all enjoy them without having to worry about whether or not they're good for you. The ingredients will all be organic and wonderful, and we'll take great steps to make sure that we bring you quality baked goods. We'll also be featuring teas and coffee and also other soft drinks. No alcoholic beverages of any kind, and we're fine with that. We want a place that everyone can enjoy, and I hope that you'll all be a part of this experience. And many of you have supported us in getting here. We did the crowdfunding, and I'm still campaigning because now we secured the place and we secured the equipment. Now we need to get stock and other equipment. Now, this is Nirakazi.
Hello. Today is April 8th, 2015. It's episode 65.
Episode 65. We've done 65 episodes. That's pretty good. Now, I'm hoping for a good show tonight. Last week there weren't many questions, but hopefully there are this week. Before we get to that, I'll do my normal shout out to all of the independent filmmakers that there are in New England and Maine specifically. A lot of my colleagues. There's Paco Seth Roberts, Bill McLean, Alan Dillingham. There is Crosby Tatum. There is Kevin DeBacco, and there's Gary Halger, among many, many others, and many wonderful actors and actresses that are working very diligently to bring you quality entertainment. There'll be some wonderful films released this year, including my own, which is Foul Care, and we're looking forward to the completion of Foul Care, and the release of it is going to be a wonderful film. Now, please keep up with your local filmmakers. You never know, you might wind up in a film, because that's just kind of how we are. So a shout out to all of those people, and those that are working to do something creative. Don't let anybody stop you. There are a lot of people that will try to come out of the woodwork and tell you that acting is unstable, or music is unstable, or art is unstable, but those people usually don't really have lives. They just go to a 9 to 5 and just call it a day. If you have some inspiration to do some form of art, my suggestion is for you to follow it through and follow your dreams. Keep your feet on the ground, but follow your dreams. Okay, take care of things on a daily basis, but make sure that you are following your dreams. Okay, so. Oh, by the way, the name of the bakery is Daily Bread Low Sodium Organic Bakery. It's actually Daily Bread Bakery, and the caption is Low Sodium and Organic Baked Goods and Teas. So now that we've covered all of those bases, on with the show. The unicorn is in. What do you have for me?
I believe we're still waiting to make sure people can still see us.
Okay.
So if you have something else, do you want to mention?
Well, let's see. Oh, I would like to mention something. You know, whenever you decide to do something wonderful, and you decide to do something positive for yourself or positive for the world at large, there's always someone that comes out of the woodwork to try to dampen your mood. or try to uh, get in your way. You know, the worst thing that you can do is get mad about it. You know what you do? You just step to the side and keep going. Okay, keep going on your goal. Don't let them stop you. Don't allow them to rain on your parade. Sometimes that can be very, very challenging and very, very hard. But somewhere you got to reach into yourself and look at that person and say, you know, I know that there's a point in time where I've done that to somebody else, but I'm just not going to allow it anymore. You know, not myself, not at anyone else. And then you have to keep going about your business. You know, just we've got a lot of crazy things that are happening in our country right about now, and I talked about them from time to time. I feel as though sometimes the rights of people have just been taken for granted. You know, you've got people that are there's this woman that is being sentenced to 41 years in prison because she miscarried, and they suspect her of causing the abortion, you know, or doing something to cause the abortion. They don't have any physical evidence or physical proof, but they just decided, and this is in Indiana, of course, they just decided that this woman needed to go to jail for 41 years. Okay, number one, she's Indian. Number two, she's unmarried, and those two don't go together really good at all. And I don't mean like American Indian, I mean really Indian. Those things just don't go together. Then you've got the whole, again, controversy with, you know, people enacting these, what they call religious freedom bills, which, look, you know, if you have a religion, you're free to practice your religion, but not at the expense of taking the rights away from other people. You know, I really don't think that it's necessary to do things that, like, say, you know, I'm not going to serve you because you're gay. That's just absolutely ridiculous and stupid, you know, and Neanderthalic, you know, if you really want to know the truth about it. So, you know, we need to see that we all need each other, and that, you know, I want to get rid of something. There's this word that is used a lot and overused, and it's called tolerance. What do you mean tolerance? Nobody has a right to tolerate anybody or show that they're intolerant of anybody. This world is what we all come from. No matter where you are, I don't need someone to be tolerant of me. You know, I have earned my right to live and breathe here. Okay, simply by being, among other things. But you know, the point is, I don't need anybody to be tolerant of me. That's just ridiculous. What makes anybody think that they're so special that they have to tolerate anybody? You know, we just need to get along. We just need to understand that this world is big enough for all of us, and that we all come from it, and that we all are entitled to be here at any moment in time. You know, so we kind of need to get rid of terms like that, you know, telling people to be tolerant. No, you tell people to be sane. You tell people to be right. You tell people to do the right thing. You tell people to just mind their own damn business. You tell people to stop deciding that they're better than somebody else, and understand that nobody here is better than anyone. I don't care if you make $40 billion a year. That doesn't make you any better. I don't care if you can read people's minds. I don't care if you can see colors and auras. I don't care if you can manifest a fireball in your freaking hand. That does not make you better than anybody. I don't care what color you are, or what color your eyes are, where you come from, how much money you have, who you've been with, who you're married to, who you're unmarried to. I don't care. None of us are better than anybody else. When it comes right down to it, at some point in time, we all got to sit down on the toilet. And that means, I don't care how good you think you are, guess what? You have to go just like the rest of us. So get off of your high horse and sit on the toilet like the rest of us. All right. So that's enough of my rant.
Yeah, the microphone is a lot closer, so you don't need to really project. I'm just telling you.
Look at my face.
Is really close.
Does it look like it can?
Yeah. So today we have a question from Vasu. She says, "I'm really happy for your bakery, and I wish you a lot of success. I have a quick question. Can you tell me the possible risks of doing a past life regression? I am unable to find much information online."
Well, the possible risks are you'll, delve yourself into a reality that you've seen that doesn't exist anymore for you. My teacher used to say this. She'd say, listen, if you really want to know what you did in your last life, think about what you're doing now. Okay? If you really want to preoccupy yourself with any life that you are living, think about the life that you are living right now. The past that you have had does offer you some things, but those things will be made apparent by what you do and who you are. The danger is to start reliving something or trying to relive something that just doesn't exist. There is no place for it anymore. You may have been a janitor or an English pot washer, although there are very few people that will actually admit that they were a janitor in a past life. But you may have been some king, or you may have been some queen. You may have been male. You may have been female. But when it comes right down to it, none of that really matters. And if you try to live like you did before, you'll have a really, really hard time. So that's the pitfall. The benefit of finding out what your past lives are is you find out exactly what you had or what you had then that could help you out now. Okay? Perhaps there's a situation that you are dealing with, or situations that you have dealt with that you in another mode can help you to solve. But just remember this, you have to operate in the now. The future is just like the past. The past is just like the future. Neither one of them are here. What matters is what is here right now. Operate here right now. Project. Learn from your past. Sometimes the universe will find it necessary for you to even have a do-over. Perhaps one of those lives you did something that you needed to correct karmically, or you need to correct spiritually, or even you need to correct on a physical level. And the parallels sometimes can be really astounding. There's moments of synchronicity that you just remember crossing before, and some of the same people will come, although they may look a little different, their energies are the same. That's when you look at a person and go, I know you. I know that we have never met before, but I know you. And we like to dismiss things like that by saying, it's deja vu, but no, that's a dimensional juxtaposition, or something that causes dimensions to actually move together so close that they affect each other. So you really need to think about things. Just take some time to think about the largeness of everything now, and then think about your place in the now. When it comes down to it, there is just one gigantic life that has many chapters to it. So if you're going to go and investigate those past lives, understand that you are not the same as you were back then. Who you are has been integrated here, and it's up to you to find those things. I would recommend for everyone to try to find out what their past lives held for them. Although I do not recommend you trying to live like you did in your past life, because it's just not going to work. And that's the bottom line. And for those of you that are scientists that do not believe in past lives, I'm really not concerned with what scientists believe or disbelieve. Scientists really don't know anything until after it's happened. Then they like to put a label on it and call it science. But delve into your past lives. Find out exactly who you are. It can only benefit you if you keep your head on your shoulders. Now, if you find out that you were like a Nazi serial killer in your past life, that doesn't mean for you to try to reenact that. Perhaps you need to do something to correct that. Do something now to correct those actions. I happen to know someone that was exactly that in their past life, and they are working very, very diligently to atone for those things. And yes, you can atone for those things. Sometimes you meet people that you knew that you knew in your past life. And sometimes they know that you knew them too. Some of them will come running towards you, and some of them will go running away from you. That doesn't mean that you're supposed to go running after them or run away from them either. It just means that you are here in the now. This is the year 2015. And what that basically means is no, this is not 500 BC. This is not 250,000 BC. This is not 1917. It's not even 1976. It is what it is. So be here now. Simple. If you are here now, you will understand and experience what is going on now and be able to deal with it. However, you are also the culmination of all of your lives at this very moment. So you can draw upon them. You just have to understand them. You have to be able to deal with them. But deal with them with equanimity. Don't decide that one was better than the other, so you're going to pick from that life, and I'm not going to pick from this one, because all of them are what made you. Anyway, those are I've given you the real dangers. Beyond that, will it affect you on a spiritual level? Yes, it will enhance you one way or another.
We have a question from guest 243. They say, what then is the benefit of a past life regression?
The benefit of past life regression is that you can pick up certain things. Depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it. If you're doing it as a retrieval, what you actually do is go back to liberate yourself from something that you were stuck in. And that way it does you a great benefit. Usually there is someone that will guide you back to certain points, almost so that you can be your own guardian angel. Now, if you were, let's say that, any of you ever see the movie Hot Tub Time Machine? Okay, I know that's a funny illustration, but in it they went back and talked to themselves at an earlier time. Well, you kind of do that in a soul retrieval regression. You go back and you get to be your future self talking to your earlier self and saying, and being able to liberate your earlier self from a moment in time or a moment in any of your lives, thereby liberating yourself now. And it works. It's very effective. Another thing that is a benefit is that you get to understand that you can retrieve certain parts of yourself that you no longer remember. And by remembering them, it will enhance you now. Like I said, it doesn't mean for you to go around and try to live like you did then, but maybe some of the experiences are able to help you now. Maybe you were a mathematician, or maybe you were a financial genius. Maybe you can borrow from that particular you in that particular time and be that same thing now, just differently. You have to be it now. You can use some of the same formulas and see how far they can get you. You know, maybe you were able to keep a job back then. You'll remember what it was, what it took in order for you to keep the job, and decide whether or not that's good for you. But I think that all of them should be explored so that you can enhance yourself. And we live in a society that has taught everybody to be blazing sissies. You know, seriously. Oh, don't do that. It could be dangerous. I know some things that are dangerous. Discovering or unveiling things about your past lives is not dangerous at all. There are things that are very, very dangerous. Delving into demonism when you know absolutely nothing is dangerous. Fooling around with certain tools that should never be touched is dangerous. Pretending that you are some occult expert when the most you know about the occult is what you watched in the movies. That's dangerous. Believing things that the ghost hunters telling you is how you deal with ghosts. That's really flipping dangerous, okay? And I've had to clean up many messes that they left behind, okay? Thinking that it's up to you to go ghost hunting can be dangerous. Fooling around in places that you should not touch, desecrating graveyards, doing things like that is dangerous. Pissing off spirits when you don't know a damn thing about them is dangerous. Those things are dangerous. Pretending to be possessed is dangerous. Desecrating this earth is dangerous. There are lots of things that are dangerous. Fighting about your past lives is not. They are your lives. And we need to stop letting people tell us things like, oh, if you go outside without a jacket, you're going to get a cold. That's a form of cursing people. You know, I know a person that asked for help, so I helped them. You know, they were being psychically attacked, so I sealed them so that they could not be psychically attacked. But they got so distraught because they could not do astral travel because of the seals that I put on them. Because you're supposed to stay in your freaking body. That they decided to do everything and anything to try to break those seals, wanting to do their astral travel and making up all kinds of stories. So, you know, of course, that led them to being very negative and angry and all of that good stuff. So, like, at the end, I just decided, you know, okay, fine, take the seals off you. Good luck. You know, that's dangerous. Astral travel, and I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't care who you've talked to on some wonderful trip on the Yellow Submarine. I don't care. It is dangerous. You will eventually be lured out to waters that are too deep for you to swim in. Of course, you'll feel good. They'll do everything to make you feel good. And then all of a sudden, you will discover some things. You will discover that the astral realm is not for people that are living. That's dangerous. So, your past lives, not dangerous. And they do serve a purpose. That helps you.
We have Miyoko, Tony, Michelle, Monmungo, and Sebastian are watching, as well as Marsha. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you very much for tuning in. Good to see you all.
We have a question from Renflex. They say, as an atheist, I was extremely curious about one thing. If you accept the paranormal as a reality, why don't you accept the existence of a God as well?
Who told you I didn't? You're speaking as an atheist. Why would God even come into your conversation? However, I do know that there is a God. I do know that there is a goddess. So I think that you got a little mixed up there. In order for there to be anything paranormal, there would have to be other deities. There would have to be other existences, higher and lower. That's just plain and simple. But I don't just accept the paranormal. I am a paranormalist. I know what exists. So perhaps if you rephrase your question, maybe I misunderstood you or whatever, but I never said that I didn't know that there was a God. Or a goddess. In fact, I made it blatantly clear that I know that God and goddess exist.
We have a question from Sebastian. They say, he says, astral travel is dangerous. I'm kind of lost on that.
It just is. The astral realm is formed for those that do not have bodies. In other words, that there are portions of it that are meant for penance, for people that have did something in life that they probably should not have. Does that mean that they're stuck there forever? No, it doesn't. But those that are within the astral realm are meant to be in the astral realm. Those that are in the physical realm are meant to be in the physical realm. When you decide to trespass, what you do is you trespass, and you wind up having to understand that for everything that is given, there must be something that is given in exchange. Now, you can't enter into the astral realm without one of those astral beings being enabled to enter into the physical realm. And the only conduit that they have is you. Different realms: physical, astral, etheric, spirit, soul realms. They are all realities. Now, they're not just separate or even layered. They are within, without. You must know the rules of dealing with things, especially when you're dealing with the metaphysical, paranormal, as we like to call Physical beings have the ability to delve into other realms once you discover them. However, there are some realms that should be steered clear of. One of them is the astral realm. If that astral membrane ever got truly breached, there would be no separation, or no reasonable separation, I'll put it that way, between what is tangible and what is intangible. Both would flood each other. There would be a chaos. While chaos is not necessarily bad, chaos does not help everyone at all. A person's reason would be totally circumvented. Stand of the astral realm. It can also weaken you physically. It can compromise your cellular structure, your physical cellular structure at least. My teacher used to call it space neurosis when a person's structure was compromised. It creates an imbalance, and you lose your sense of reality. And in order for you to deal with this particular third dimension, you're going to have to maintain a level of reality and discipline. The third dimension serves its function. We live on a third dimensional reality. It has precedence, whether you like it or not. In order for you to accomplish many things, you might say that it's part of even a grand design that you are able to complete certain things in the physical realm that will help you to not only transcend, but transform. I hope that clears it up for you.
We have another question from Michelle. She says, "Hello, I have a dream question. In my dream..."
Michelle Ayat?
Yes.
Hey, Michelle. I tried to get in contact with you. Evidently, I missed you. But if you have any time tomorrow, we need to do a makeup class, and then we'll just have another class the next day. Okay, what's your question?
She said, "I have a dream question. In my dream, you opened the door in my house, and there was a picture of clowns that I actually have. And you cleaned it with a cotton swab, and all the clowns turned into Indians."
That's me, a Hoorzy clown cleaner. No, that means there's some thoughts that maybe I was helping you, and I'm helping you with, and we both know that, that have stopped you for a long time. And remember what I said, you're in the process of transforming. So I was just talking about that. You know, even when you use your past life, you can use your past life not to just transcend things, but to transform yourself. So all I'm doing is helping you clean out some old closets, things that have tricked you for so long. Help you get your reality.
Mm-hmm. Seth says, "Hello everyone, I've missed you."
Hey Seth,
Hi,
how you
Seth.
doing? Good to see you.
Sebastian has a few more questions.
Certainly.
Sebastian says, he says, "I understand a little better, but I'm still kind of lost on it. Could one be trained in astral travel?"
Of course one can be trained in astral travel.
And they ask.
But the benefit of it is nil. The benefit of it is an illusion. It would be better for you to be trained in soul travel.
And the next question was, would lucid dreaming be considered astral travel?
No, lucid dreaming is lucid dreaming. Astral travel is astral travel. In lucid dreaming, you don't leave your body. You merely are entered into the dream plane, which is actually more aptly called the eighth dimension. And you just have an awareness of your being there in the eighth dimension. Yet you're still fully conscious that you're sleeping. You're fully conscious that you're resting. When a person travels astrally, you know, you hear all this talk about the silver cord, and that's pretty valid. Silver cord. That's pretty valid. But a person actually leaves their body unprotected, unattended. Understand this. The dream dimension is all around you at any given time. There is no leaving. It is part of who you are. The astral realm is part of who you are too. But one of them, in order for you to be fully conscious in them, you have to leave an existence. With your dream reality, you don't have to leave anything. It merely becomes, you merely become more aware of the things that are going on around you at any given moment. So to those that are lucid dreaming, it is the same as being awake. To those that are astral traveling, you really have to leave. And that's dangerous. It's kind of like leaving your car in South Central Los Angeles with the motor running because you wanted to go inside to
the doors
look
unlocked.
around.
The doors
Well, they
unlocked.
really don't care in South Central Los Angeles. The door don't have to be unlocked. But you left your car. That's silly. You keep your body. You stay within your body. I have trained people in dream interpretation and soul travel for many, many years. And when you're doing a soul travel or you're doing lucid dreaming, you are fully aware, if you're doing lucid dreaming, you are fully aware that you have an existence here in the physical, and you're also exploring the full breadth of your dreams. You can do some things you just don't get to do. There's blank spots. In other words, there are parts that are not finished yet, not constructed. You do have to stay within a certain realm. Lucid dreaming is very aware.
And he asks, how about quantum jumping when you meet yourself in an alternate reality?
Okay, quantum jumping again. You're not going anywhere. You're merely meeting yourself. In other words, that's like yourself coming up to the door and saying, hey, you get to talk and you actually get to speak. That's funny that they put these funny names on things that, I've done for decades. You talk to other parts of yourself, other selves. Remember, they're all echoes, and all of those echoes are connected. You are all connected. There are those past lives, future lives, lateral lives, and all of them. There's nothing that you can do that is going to make them separate. They're merely an echo of each other. There's no leaving to go anywhere. You don't leave to go to talk to yourself ever. You are still here. And yourself is still there, and you two are merely exchanging what is one. You meet the self that is successful. You meet the self that has made a mistake at some point in time and is constantly making a mistake. You meet that person that's constantly successful, and you say, okay, look, I need to know what it is that you are doing, because this party sucks. So I need to, what can you give me that I can use that will help me out? And that's exactly what you did. And if you get the right one, because remember, there's so many of yourself, you just do not know how many of yourselves that there are. But if you get one that is willing to actually exchange with you, because remember, they have free will too. They're all you. But think about it, just for how often do you listen to yourself? Just consciously, right now, how often do you actually listen? You have this thought, and you go, okay, I really shouldn't be thinking that. But then you go, well, I'm going to think it anyway. You just totally dismissed yourself. Even now. So what makes you think that you'll listen to yourself if all of a sudden the physical representation of your other self came and stood at the door and said, okay, I'm here to tell you this? So we really have to be, paranormalists, all of paranormalists, we are a brilliant bunch. We are a magnificent and powerful and creative bunch, but a lot of us are like jackasses. We know that there are certain things that we can do, and we know that there are certain things that are right. I always tell a person, listen to your first thought, because your first thought is going to be that thought that is going to be the right thought. Okay? But many people will trick themselves into believing that the second, third, or fourth thought is actually the first thought because they can hear it better and can remember it. Your first thought is that total sensory expression, is that thing that you feel, you see, you taste, you touch, you know, you hear, etc., etc., etc. And it all happens all at once. It's not many times incredibly loud. but is ever present. And then there's the other ones that come in and try to rationalize everything. You can't do that, because if you do that, then this and this and this, and you can't. Maybe you can do this, or maybe this is the right one, or this or that. No, it's blue. No, red. That. And then all of a sudden you've lost your first thought, and then supposed to know what's your first thought, and you can't remember it. You can't get it. But see, it's that first thought that is those other dimensional yous that are saying, "Hey, do this." Because if you do this, then you'll get to the other thing. Like, I saw this one question that said, okay, which would you choose? Money, fame, success, or what power would you choose? This, or invisibility, or super strength, or super speed, or richness, being rich, and blah, blah, blah. And, your minds are just like that. Those are those other thoughts that says, well, which one do you want? Instead of telling you the one that is the right one, which happened in the first place, but you wouldn't listen. So what makes you think you're going to listen to a physical self? We ask a lot of questions. We think about a lot of things. But look how confused we all are. It comes down to it. I guess if they wanted to set a case that humanity has ADD, they would be right.
Hardcore.
ADD. The idea is for you to be disciplined. Okay? The idea is for you to react and respond. The idea is to be honest with yourself. And the moment that a situation comes up that you should deal with it, frickin' deal with it. Don't reason out of it. Or the moment that you know that you say, okay, I have this idea. You're supposed to carry the idea through, not let yourself talk yourself out of it, because that's that clear communication from someone that said, hey, if you do this, you're going to get this result. You've written this wonderful design. If you present this design, there's a pretty damn good chance that it could be something real. Why don't we go ahead and follow it through? Oh, well, that's a great design, but, I didn't go to school for that. Really? Seriously? I want to be an actor, but, acting is unstable. I can't be successful doing it. The most successful people on the face of this earth are actors. I don't even know where the reason alternative to that comes from. It's just, that's one of those UFO thoughts.
Some of them dropped out of college.
Most of them dropped out of college.
I know.
Instead, we talk each other into being into debt. Let's go get you a school loan so you'll be paying for it for the next 40 years. That it just doesn't work. So listen to yourself. If you want to deal with those, like you meant to mention what they call quantum jumping. If you really want to get in touch with those other yous and you really want to deal with that, start listening to yourself on the physical level. Start listening to yourself. Get really good at it. And then ask to talk to one of those other yous. The process is not very hard at all. It really is not. And you will discover something. You do not have to go anywhere. You do not have to leave your body or your consciousness. All of you are very present. Me, I used to call it talking to my people.
So we've got peoples in there, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do. But still, I called it talking to my people. So that should help you out. That should ground things for you. If you're talking about the astral realm, the moment that you have to leave your body unattended, that's pure foolishness. And pretty much when you're astral traveling, that's exactly what you do. Remember, the astral realm has a lot of people that want to be here. They can't do anything without a physical body. Nothing. But they can trick you. They can trick you into allowing them to cohabitate with you, even if it's for a short time, at least long enough to deteriorate your life and try to take you over. And does this happen? Yes. Yes. That is a reality. I've had to disconnect people. I've had to send people back to the astral realm where they belong. I've even had to go into the astral realm to liberate a person, and I am not happy about those things when I have to do it.
Okay, and Sebastian asks, but there's no reality, am I right or wrong, and soul travel?
I'm sorry, there's no reality?
He says, but there is no reality, am I right or wrong?
You are wrong, there is reality.
I've just been watching The Matrix too many times.
No, that's not where the question comes from.
He says, and soul travel.
Now, soul travel, remember, your soul encompasses everything, and your soul is connected to the grand soul. Again, you don't have to go anywhere. Let's call a soul travel like a guided meditation on steroids. Okay? You are led on a soul travel. And, there's a technique by which you lead yourself, but you actually have to lead yourself through the soul travel. You have to return yourself through the soul travel. Okay? And I take people on a journey within themselves as guided. Whatever they see is what it is that they see. All they do is follow what I'm asking them to do. Okay? And then by the time they come back, they've obtained something that is specifically for them. I remember taking and this was astounding. This was in Omaha, Nebraska. I took a group of kids on a soul travel. And in the soul travel, I directed them to pick up a stone and hold the stone in their hand. I described the stone that they were to pick up. And do you know, one of the kids sat there after we finished the soul travel, and he held his hand like he was standing there with this expression on his face, and he held this thing in his hand, and I walked over and said, "What's the matter?" And he says, "Was that supposed to happen?" I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, and he opened his hand. It was the exact stone that I had described. And all the kids said, "Well, did you have that in your hand before?" And he says, "I promise I didn't. I had nothing." And he held that stone in his hand. And I said, "Well, that was awesome." The stone was actually quite bright, and it glowed with a lot of energy. And it was the funniest thing because he did it a couple more times.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And then he told his parents about it the first time, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, right." Then the second time and the third time, and then they were like concerned about it. But,
that's awesome.
Yeah, but, children do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was one person you might look into that mastered the art of soul travel. And he could actually bring certain things back with him. We knew him as Sai Baba, and you might look him up and hear some of his experiences. But the interesting thing is when you bring certain things back with you, you have to use them, or else they'll dissipate and go back to where they were. That's a long story. But like soul travel like a guided meditation on steroids, you can realize a lot. But yes, there is reality. Here's the thing to remember. The first step and rule of law of spirituality is reality. Reality is now.
All right.
All right. What else have you got?
Nanbungo asks, how can I stop spiritual attacks on people?
You need training for that. There's no one answer for that. Remember, if you're going to put yourself in the way of a spiritual attack on a person, you put yourself at risk, and that means you have to have training. You have to learn how to deal with that. You have to learn how to deflect the energy, how to banish an energy, how to fill the energy, fill the void that you've taken an energy out of, and how to protect the person or yourself, protect yourself and another person. You have to learn all of that. That takes time. If you're interested, that brings me to a point. If you're interested in learning, I do teach. I teach my classes, and the first things that I teach people is psychic self-defense. You learn to defend yourself, and you'll be able to defend others. And those of you that are interested in classes, you know how to reach me. And those of you that do not, you can reach me at www.unicorn-code.com. That is Unicorn Code School of Metaphysics. And I provide this so that you can have certain questions answered. But I do not teach for free. This is my life. This is not my hobby. And I've been doing this for almost 30 years now. I was doing it before it was cool. So hope that answers your questions.
He has another question. I'm sorry, I skipped this one on Manbungo. What is the best way to cleanse negative energy in a workplace?
Well, in order for you to cleanse the energy in a workplace, you have to have permission to do so, first off. Serenity matters. Even when I'm cleaning a home or banishing something in a home, I have to have total, complete control of what goes on there. So I ask the person, if I can do anything I choose. Do I have full permission to clean this place? That's one start. So if you can deal with the person who's the custodian or the owner of the place, you get your permission to do that. Secondly, you make sure that your thoughts are controlled and your thoughts are disciplined. And then there are certain things, lots of people like to use sage. Sage is okay, but sage is merely a bandage. It goes away the moment the smoke goes away. The effects of it go away. And those things that you banished may come back. And sometimes they come back a little stronger. One of the things you can do in your particular space is if you just get a tiny cup, glass cup, it has to be glass, and fill it halfway with clear vinegar and the other half with salt. It doesn't necessarily have to be sea salt, but sea salt works, wonderfully. And stir it till it's a little paste and set it up in your space. It'll at least keep the negative vibration away from you and your particular space, and it will stop any astral manifestation in your particular area. But think about the work that you do and how many thoughts are actually released during the day. So it's not, even if you cleaned out a lot of those thoughts, the moment that people who are allowed in that place decide to bring negative thought in, you'll have to clean it again. If it's just your space, then you will be the one that decides what comes in and what does not come into your space. So I've given you one method. Also, we do know that prayer works. Do some prayers to protect yourself and to clear things out. One of the most powerful prayers that there is one that is Psalms 91. If you learn that, not just read it, but learn it and memorize it and be able to use it, that will keep things at bay. It's a prayer of banishment and protection is what that is. There are certain things that are within the Bible that are very, very, regardless of how much of it was done just for political reasons or to enslave or control people, there are some things that are absolute truths. And one of those things is that prayer. And understand that. Learn it. Just reciting it, it's a prayer, so it will give you minimal protection, but if you learn it, it makes it very, very powerful. Okay, you can have a gun, but if you don't know how to use a gun, it's just a very powerful tool given to a fool. But if you learn how to use it, you have the discipline and the training with it that is necessary, then it becomes an effective tool. So, hope that helps you out.
All right, Michelle says, in response to her dream question, makes sense, thanks. And I will write you on Skype.
Awesome.
Very good. Sebastian says, he said, I'm not well versed in this topic of soul travel and astral travel and such. I honestly thought it was all one, and haha, that's funny.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. It is all one. But there are nuances within anything that is one. Remember, even if you bake a cake, it has different elements in it. It's still a cake, but there are different elements. Just understand that there are rules. I know that in our spiritual community, we like to believe that to just take down every rule is the way that things should be, but that's not necessarily so. There are rules. goal can be right in front of you. It can be right there in front of you, waiting for you to leap forth and grab it. But you can't always do that. You have to follow the rules. The rules may say no. If you reach that way towards your goal, what's going to happen is it's going to retreat from you. However, if you take this road and this road and this road, it will get you directly to your goal. We operate a lot on what we want to do and what we don't want to do. The spiritual realm doesn't operate on what we want to do and what we don't want to do. It operates on its own realm. There are things that will land you in bliss. There are things that will land you in a pitfall. And these are the truth. Okay? The idea is to remain balanced. My teacher used to explain it like this. When you're looking for enlightenment, which is what people who are going into the astral realm are looking for, they're looking for enlightenment. You have to walk straight ahead like you're on a razor's edge. Okay? Straight ahead. You can't fall too much into the heaven side, because if you fall too much into the heaven side, it makes you totally ineffectual. You're no good to anybody. You can't fall into the hell side, because if you fall into the hell side, again, it makes you totally no use to anybody. You have to remain balanced, kind of like a cardinal cross. You equalize your weight, and you keep going, and you keep going to the goal. That's called logic. You keep moving ahead, realizing that there is both heaven and hell on either side of you. You can observe them both, but understanding that what is in front of you is what you're looking for. So, yeah, they all are one. They all make up the world. There are rules. A volcano makes up part of this earth too, and it looks really, really cool, but you're not going to go jumping into it. But you can.
Figure it
out.
The
whole point.
The whole
point is that there are certain things that are beautiful here. There are certain things that you can be enlightened about, but that does not mean that you are supposed to go do that thing, because that could lead to your obliteration. And I am telling you that astral travel will lead you directly to it. It may take months. It may take years. It may just take a few days. But eventually, you will become addicted. And the moment that you're addicted to it, you are losing. Because eventually you will become obsessed. And obsession is a preamble to possession. I see a lot of things. I can visit many realms. I am not addicted to what it is that I do. I remain disciplined. I cannot help a soul if I am not disciplined. I am always the Ahura Z you are speaking to right now. My personality does not change. I am always this person.
Sometimes they're dogs.
I'm being serious. You do not want an astral being attaching to you. It will drain your energy, your physical energy. And then you will have to seek out a person like myself who will have to detach you. And it's not a pleasant experience. Just so you know. But yes, they are all one. Just different nuances. Remember, you have a physical body, an astral body, an etheric body, a spirit body, and a soul body. They are all one. You need them all. You must have them all. For you to hone in on one and separate it is detriment, which fortunately the universe gives us a fail-safe that we really don't have any control over our spirit or our soul. Because as humans, the way that we are, we would find a way to screw ourselves and other people up. So you might say that they know a bit more than we do. Come here. Come on. Over here.
Manbongo says thank you, and Sebastian says thank you, and it is after 9 o'clock.
All right. This was good. Sorry for the technical difficulty. I'd like to thank everyone that attended the show tonight. Next week we'll have all of the things ironed out. I'm getting closer and closer. And I do appreciate you all being here. And please tell your friends about the show, because the more questions I have, the more I get to teach. And I really enjoy teaching. Thank you all for your support with the bakery. And I look forward to seeing you all. We'll be opening in June. And I'm looking forward to that. I'll let you all know the details, and I'll post things on Facebook daily. For those of you that still want to contribute, I am still campaigning. Please contribute to the Daily Bread Bakery. And you can find the Daily Bread Low Sodium Organic Bakery link on Facebook, and I'll make sure that it's posted there. You just click on it and go to the Indiegogo page and make a contribution. And for those of you that do have a bit of money, this is a firm investment. It will be worth your while. For those of you that do not, even a few dollars helps. Okay. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for attending the show. Have a beautiful week, a wonderful week. Be good to each other and stay out of the astral realm. For those of you that would like to learn more about these things, you can contact us at Unicorn Cove School of Metaphysics. The number is area code 207-347-5686. And the website is www.unicorn-cove.com. Our email is info@unicorn-cove.com. And if you have more questions for Ask the Unicorn, that you will find that at www.asktheunicorn.com. I'm Ahura Z. This is Nirakazi. Thank you all for being here. Unicorn out.
Bye.